guys, so today and tomorrow we're going to talk specifically about the distributive property, and we did not talk about this as one of our properties yesterday, so this is another property, but we need to go into it into more detail than just being able to recognize it, because you have to also be able to solve it. So the distributive property means to give. You are giving one number to other numbers. So here is what I mean by that. When you use the distributive property, you are giving the number or variable on the outside of the parentheses to both the numbers or variables on the inside of the parentheses. So we are taking the number that's on the outside of the parentheses and we are giving it to the numbers that are inside the parentheses, meaning giving means multiplying. So you are taking the number that is on the outside of the parentheses and you are multiplying it by the numbers or variables that are on the inside of the parentheses. So here's what I mean by that. Do you guys all see this right here? It says 5 outside and the 4 plus 2 is on the inside. Yeah. Okay, so step 1 is you are going to draw the arrow from the 5 to the 4. So trace that arrow for me. And draw the arrow going from the 5 to the 2. Those arrows mean to multiply. So you're taking that 5 on the outside and you're multiplying it by the 4 on the inside. You're taking the 5 on the outside and you're multiplying it by the 2 on the inside. Does that make sense, everyone? So you see how they wrote 5 times 4 plus 5 times 2? Then they actually did that. What's 5 times 4, you guys? And what's 5 times 2? And then it says to simplify if possible. It's not always going to be possible. I'll show you when it's not possible in a little bit. And 20 plus 10 is, so that's how you use the distributive property. Okay, let's look at this number 2 they gave us. You take the 2 that's on the outside and you draw an arrow to the 6. That arrow represents a multiplication problem. So we're taking the 2 and we're timesing it by the 6. Does everyone see that? What's 2 times 6? Did they make an error? So cross off that 18 and write a 12. Because that 18 should be a 12. Hope you can't see that. Sorry. Yep. So 2 times 6, multiply them together and you get 12. Does that make sense, everyone? Then you do the same thing with the other one. It's 2 times 3. And what's 2 times 3? What is it? 6. And then we do what together? We simplify them. So what's 12 plus 6? So my answer is 18. All right, let's do one together. So step 1, remember we're drawing those arrows. So it's 4. And what am I doing with that 4? Multiplying it by what? So we write 4 times 2. That's the first thing that goes inside those parentheses. Then we draw our second arrow. And what are we doing there? 4 times 8. So we're putting 4 times 8 inside parentheses. Now actually do the multiplication, guys. What's 4 times 2? And what's 4 times 8? What operation sign should be between the 8 and the 32? Addition. We see an addition sign and we write an addition sign, right, guys? What if it was a subtraction sign? What would we write? So write whatever sign you see. And what's 8 plus 32? So our answer is 40. Questions on that at all? Okay, go to the next page. More where the bulk of our notes is going to come from for the distributive property. So example 1. Okay, I could give you something that looks like this. 5 parentheses 11 plus 4n close parentheses. We are doing the same thing even though there's a variable. Is that understood? You take your arrow and you draw the arrow from 5 to 11. What does that mean? So we're going to write 5 times 11. And what is 5 times 11, everyone? What is it, everyone? 55. Any questions so far? Okay, do the same thing with the other number. Take an arrow and draw an arrow from 5 to 4n. What does that tell me to do? Now, and I'm going to write 5 times 4n. I'm going to keep that variable with it. Don't get rid of it. But I'm still only going to multiply my numbers together. What's 5 times 4, guys? So I write 20n. That n just stays there. You do the math with the numbers and the n stays alone. What operation sign should go between them? Now, remember on the page before it said to simplify if possible? I can't simplify this. This is my answer. Why can't I simplify that? Because it's got an n. Does this have an n? Does that have an n? I can't combine them because one has an n and one does not. So that right there is my answer. Questions on that at all?